This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 28th day of May, in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Now here's what we're tracking tonight. Residents of Maka on the east bank of the Marara and surrounding communities did not hold back on voicing their concerns this morning when they met with visiting US Congressman Jonathan Jackson. Many of the residents highlighted issues of racial discrimination, victimization, injustice in the housing sector, underdevelopment, and inhumane treatment meted out to a large section of the Guyanese by the current administration, they said. In the presence of Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister Kwame McCoy, Opposition Member of Parliament Nima Flubes told the US Congressman that after 130 years, the people of Maka Arcadia are still battling to save the lands they inherited from their ancestors. The opposition MP, who is also a resident of Maka Arcadia, said the situation hit rock bottom on the 5th of January last year when the government bulldozed the homes of a number of residents in Caneview, leaving the majority of them homeless and without a livelihood. She presented the US Congressman with information and details of the demolition exercise and the treatment meted out to the residents of Caneview as their homes were demolished. Jumping to the defense of the government, Roll Aaron of the Central Housing and Planning Authority told the US Congressman that after identifying the path for the highway, the government contacted 34 families, and of that number, 7 of them chose not to relocate. He said the 27 families who opted to be compensated by the government are now living on titled lands in the housing communities of Herstelling and Farm comfortably. But LaShawna Ellis, who was among the Caneview residents severely affected by that demolition exercise, told the congressman that government's offer was simply unacceptable.
For me, we didn't collect the money because $5 million can't build a house for nobody in Guyana. $5 million cannot build a house for a family of 9. We have cattle, we have farm. Where are we going to put all of this when they relocate you to a residential area where you can't do any of these things? Most of our money, our earnings came from these things, sir. And the government has put us in a situation whereby we can't be comfortable and live the life that we want to live.
Ellis said to date, her 3-year-old daughter remains traumatized after witnessing the destruction of their home in January of last year. With nowhere left to go, Ellis and her daughter had cause to seek refuge at relatives and friends. Another resident, Mark Hyman, said he repeatedly visited the Central Housing and Planning Authority on numerous occasions to find a solution and a resolution after telling the government that its offer was insufficient. He said with little notice his cattle farm was destroyed, leaving his animals exposed and a number of them missing.
Back again between the back there and the back dam, right now we're suffering a problem between the water level. Again, I say suffering right away and I just ask him for assist me for build back my thing, like get you back with my left away.
Siobhan Eastman, who was arrested as she attempted to safeguard her home during the demolition exercise last year, said her home and shop were demolished with nowhere left to go.
Came the third, they broke the bridge. They came the fourth and they tell us that they got to break the building. I said, man, I'm going to become homeless. When the police tell me, oh, they have to break the place, I say, you guys don't have to break this place. Because these people promised me a land at Great Diamond to relocate. And if you guys is not giving me this land to relocate to Great Diamond because it's in preparation, how can I move?
The issue of flooding in the community was also raised.
2020, they said they were building a bridge and they blocked the drainage canal. All the farmers lost. 2022, deliberate flooding was done to this community from water being drained from other communities into the canal, and there's no pump there. So all the water is being flooded on our farmers. And thirdly, 2024, now in this rainy season, I am witnessing again the loss of many crops as a result of works that was not done during the dry season.
And an elderly woman from Peters Hall, Vashi Fredericks, said the people of Peters Hall are also suffering at the hands of the government.
Concerning Peters Hall residents and the bridge that is there, is a lot of disadvantage going on, terrorism and bullyism. I tell you that this morning.
There was no legal document came to us when this bridge started. They started a project and then they came to us. We had to move out within 3 months, right? So I born and grow there. They say fruit trees. Are you compensating me for my fruit trees? No, they give. I said, take off my hat. I said, watch my hair or watch my face. You giving me trees to plant back when? You gotta give me fruit trees with fruits on them. Because they assign us to all the government political lawyers. I don't understand. Mr. From Housing, Mr. Aaron, he was on the ground with us when they came in, and every time a different person from the housing came in, they come with a different situation. The government had no policy for us, no principle, nothing at all.
The US Congressman was also told that there is no one Guyana. One resident said the government is using taxpayers' dollars to further divide the nation, and it is evident not only in Mucka, Arcadia.
The system of apartheid and slavery is still evident among us. This government, sir, appointing a few of us. If you notice how this place is divided, you see as one, but we now one. The government are using each other to divide us. And pick a few, get them a few pittance, and they turn against us. There's no development. All the effort is to destroy us.
It was also pointed out that in coordinating today's event, the chairman of the Neighborhood Democratic Council was not informed, but rather the government handpicked a councillor to represent the NDC at the meeting. An attempt by Minister Kwame McCoy to justify the actions of the government and reject claims of racial discrimination was met with loud heckling by those who attended the meeting. And Congressman Jackson said he wanted to understand the plight and concerns of the people. After listening to the concerns and the views of the residents, the congressman said he will make the concerns of the residents known to President Irfan Ali as well as his colleagues in the U.S.
I share this with my colleagues, the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, as well as the leader of the Democratic Party, and with my colleagues. And I will encourage them to come down here on subsequent visits as well to have an assessment. And I'll share with them, as was reported to me by the residents that came out this morning.
Congressman Jackson held separate meetings with the government and opposition during his visit to Guyana. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Chance of a lifetime with Lucosade Energize Your Drive promotion. Enter to win a fully loaded Toyota CHR or a ton of cash. $500,000 and $250,000 respectively. Just purchase 2 or more Lucosade 360 milliliter at participating outlets. Write your contact details on the back of the receipt and place them in the marked boxes nationwide. It's that simple. And you're on your way to energize your drive with Lucosade. This promotion runs April 12th to June 7th, 2024. Terms and conditions apply.
Guyanese are set to benefit from improved healthcare services countrywide. You will have access to specialized world-class hospitals, well-trained nurses, doctors, and other health professionals. The sum of $129.8 billion earmarked in Budget 2024 to create a resilient health sector, is a mammoth increase from the $90.2 billion budgeted in 2023. Revenues earned from oil production support the fostering of a healthy nation through budgetary support for national development.
A number of communities across Lyndon woke up to flood waters this morning after heavy rains over the past 2 days saw drains and creeks overflowing their banks. In areas like Caracara, Rainbow City, and Retrieve on the Mackenzie Shore, water from the overflowing Caracara Creek rushed into homes, leaving a number of persons counting damages and losses. The mayor of Lyndon, Sharma Solomon, went on Facebook early this morning to bring attention to the situation across his town. He said repeated efforts by the council to get central government to assist with some of the much-needed work to clear the drains and dredge the creeks were met with silence. He said the people of Lyndon have now found themselves on the floodwaters.
You see Councillor Bethune out here? Councillor Bethune is the head of the Works Department Committee. We said to the town clerk to sit down with Councillor Bethune. We invited stakeholders during town week. We said to them to get the CDC groups. They should have all met. It never happened. It never happened. The town clerk never made that meeting happen. Instead, he was so gleeful to deny you, Lyndon, an opportunity to have a proper cleanup, thanks to the Region 10 Tourism Association, who stepped in and organized a cleanup with the council. Stakeholder, you Lyndon did that. Instead, what he did, he held it off to the PPP government to come in to pay off 77 million. Run round the place chopping down people mango tree. Run round the place leaving vendors without the resources to clean the market because they got priority work. Well, what's your priority work tonight? That less than an hour, twice after that cleanup, the place is flooded.
The mayor said just last week there was a rush into the community by some government officials to prepare the surrounding areas close to the Mackenzie Sports Club ground for the flag-raising ceremony. The mayor said little work was done to address the threat of flooding, and there was no consultation with the municipality. Now that event has passed and the heavy rains have returned, he said Lyndoners are the ones left facing the problems that could have been avoided with support for the clearing of creeks and drains.
And everybody gone home. Everybody gone home, Lyndon. Look the hour. Most of we done sleeping. But look the people out here. You know why? Because those who are suffering know in numbers. You see Councillor Bethune out here, you know why? Because people want to know what's happening. You got to put on your clothes and come out here now. And all of them gone home with them money in their pocket. And got them little youth telling them this is the best treatment ever. While the rest of them suffer. Because you know we talked about in local government last year, the looking fit culture. Just looking fit. So we ask you this, Lyndon. When you get that little it, understand, look around, ask yourselves, where the development there? Ask yourselves. Look the development. Ask yourselves.
On the Wisma Shore, some areas also faced floodwaters, with residents blaming the recent construction of concrete roads that resulted in the blocking of drainage facilities in some areas. Residents also complained that the drainage system was covered up completely in other areas. By this afternoon, the Bowside Bauxite Company dispatched several pieces of large equipment to assist the authorities with some drainage works to get water off of the land. Workers from Bowside could have been seen with officials of the community carrying out the work. Member of Parliament for Region 10, German Figuera, called on the government to activate the Civil Defense Commission to immediately move into the community to provide support services and coordinate relief efforts with the town and regional councils. With more heavy rainfall predicted in the coming days, residents of Lyndon are bracing themselves for even more possible flooding in some parts of the town. At the national flag-raising ceremony, which was held over the weekend on Saturday night in Lyndon, President Irfan Ali recommitted himself and his government to building a more resilient Guyana that will work to deliver on the dreams and aspirations of the citizens. In a 45-minute speech that reflected budget-like details of the country and its economy, the president noted the advancements made in the country over the past 58 years and the plans to realize much more.
We recommit ourselves on this occasion in building a Guyana that is resilient, a Guyana that is strong and sustainable, a Guyana that is competitive, and a Guyana in which the citizens of her country, the citizens of our country, must and will enjoy the best quality healthcare services, educational services, infrastructure, and recreational facilities. This is the Guyana that we are creating.
According to President Ali, Guyana has changed since it gained independence 58 years ago in 1966. He said the current Guyana is shaping its own way on the international stage.
Today, we live in a Guyana that is much different from our first independence. A Guyana that is shaping her own way globally. A Guyana that is creating her own brand. A Guyana that is creating new opportunities. A Guyana that is re-energizing itself as we work towards a singular goal of bringing all of us together under the umbrella of one Guyana and bringing prosperity to every single family and every single home.
The president said his government's vision is one that seeks to ensure that they can build a society that is not only free and just, but a society in which the aspirations of every Guyanese can be realized. In that independence address, the president also noted that the country is now in the center of important development that is taking place regionally and globally. Focusing on the energy sector, President Ali said there can be no conversations in future on energy without Guyana being a part of those conversations. He also said the government has been making major investments in various sectors since taking office, highlighting the billions of dollars spent in a number of sectors. He told residents of Lyndon and Region 10 that the region has a key role to play in the government's plans for the country.
The regional food hub will be located within your region. Your region will be the region that will be producing all the corn and soya for us nationally and to satisfy the CARICOM need. Your region soon will produce all the black eye and red beans to satisfy national demand, and by the end of next year to satisfy regional demand. These are already investments in place.
Notably absent from the president's independence address to the nation was any reference to the border controversy with neighboring Venezuela, although Venezuela continues to build up troops close to the Guyana border and has over the past year increased its aggression towards Guyana.
Rev up your excitement and win the chance of a lifetime with Lucosade Energize Your Drive promotion. Enter to win a fully loaded Toyota CHR or a ton of cash. $500,000 and $250,000 respectively. Just purchase 2 or more Lucosade 360 milliliter at participating outlets. Write your contact details on the back of the receipt and place them in the marked boxes nationwide. It's that simple. And you're on your way to Energize Your Drive with Lucosade. This promotion runs April 12th to June 7th, 2024. Terms and conditions apply.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
was there last year. It was so nice. Me and them girls had real fun. It's the best party I ever went to. As a big one.
Backed by Popular Demand, Team Extra presents the Bad Birthday. June 22nd, 12 one-man bands running live. Stitchy Fight Machine, Murphy Invasion Band, Love Connection, Genesis, Big V, Cali World Band, Aaron the Entertainer, Honor Smooth, and many more. Early bird tickets at $2,000 at Just You Size Boutique, White Castle Fisher, Fireside Suites, Extra Beer, Starbucks, compliments of Fireside Suites, Extra Energy Drink, and Extra Beer. The Band's Birthday, Saturday, June 22nd at the National Park.
The Ministry of Natural Resources has announced that Guyana's plan to achieve global standards of sustainable forest management has been recognized internationally. Now that Guyanese timber and timber products certified under the local standard will now bear the program for the endorsement of forest certification international labels and trademarks. The ministry said all forest management and chain of custody certificates issued by the local standard are now considered equal to those from the international certification system. According to the ministry, the move provides clear evidence to local and international buyers that the certified forest operators' management practices meet global environmental, social, and economic standards. And it also demonstrates compliance with national and international legal forest requirements. To combat illegal logging, the Ministry of Natural Resources noted that Guyana has maintained a national wood tracking system, which dates back to the early 2000s. That system enables the tracking of timber and timber products from the market to the forest source. The Guyana Forestry Commission is said to be working on training local auditors for certification bodies to use under the local standard system, reducing the need to bring auditors from overseas. This evening, 2 men are nursing serious stab injuries after they rushed to the aid of a woman who was being beaten by her boyfriend on Saturday night and were attacked. A police report stated that Leroy Garaya and Alonzo McLean, both of Old Boys Town, were having drinks at a local bar in Le Penitence when they observed 34-year-old Jason Lespar beating away on his girlfriend outside the bar. The police report said that the 2 men intervened in an effort to help the woman on the attack. And it was then that the attacker, Jason Lespar, drew a knife from his pants and dealt the men several stab wounds about their bodies before making good his escape on foot in an eastern direction. The 2 injured men were picked up by public-spirited citizens and taken to the Georgetown Hospital, where they were admitted by doctors. Garaya's condition is listed as critical, while McLean's condition has been listed as stable. One of the men was stabbed 5 times to his back and to the left side of his chest, while the other man was stabbed once to the left shoulder. Both men remain under medical care. The suspect is still to be arrested.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo, from its pristine rivers to its abundant resources. It's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
Our commitment to this land is not just about ownership. It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect, and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development. by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Gaia's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Gaia Oil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall in the region. Authorities in the Brazilian state of Rio Grande do Sul have confirmed 54 cases of the waterborne leptospirosis disease after the region experienced unprecedented floods in the months of April and May, according to the BBC. 4 others have died after contracting the illness, which is transmitted through water contaminated with infected animals' urine, like rats. As many as 800 suspected cases are currently being investigated, the state's health department said in a statement. More than 165 people were killed in the floods and many others are still missing. More than 2.3 million Brazilians from 469 municipalities in Rio Grande do Sul have been affected by what has been described as a climate disaster by the Brazilian government. At least 581,000 people are displaced, while temporary accommodation has been able to house 55,000 people from Rio Grande do Sul, according to local media reports. Many cities in the state are still underwater, and conditions could see leptospirosis cases go up. Trinidad and Tobago could have a new player in its airspace as Inter-Caribbean Airways has filed an application with the Twin Island Nation Civil Aviation Authority to operate a scheduled service. Trevor Sadler, CEO of Inter-Caribbean Airways, provided the update during a media conference at the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association Marketplace in Montego Bay, Jamaica, when asked about the airline's long-rumored plans of entering TNT. When asked about the date that the application was filed, Sadler said it was not information he had at his disposal. If Inter-Caribbean Airways enters the TNT market, it will face stiff competition from the country's national carrier, Caribbean Airlines (CAL), which is owned by both the Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaican governments. CAL is currently expanding its route network that includes destinations such as New York City, Toronto, Cuba, the Bahamas, Barbados, Caracas, Suriname, and Guyana. The airline recently added a route that takes travelers from Trinidad to Puerto Rico with a stop in Barbados. And finally tonight, international news. Israeli tanks shelled a tent camp in an evacuation area west of Rafah and killed at least 21 people on Tuesday, Gaza health authorities said, while advancing to the heart of the southern Gaza city for the first time after a night of heavy bombardment. Reuters in a report said, 2 days after an Israeli airstrike on another camp stirred global condemnation, Gaza Emergency Services said 4 tank shells hit a cluster of tents on a coastal strip that Israel had advised civilians in Rafah to move to for safety. At least 12 of the dead were women, according to medical officials in the Hamas militant-run Palestinian enclave. In central Rafah, tanks and armored vehicles mounted with machine guns were spotted near the coastal strip. The Israeli military said its forces continue to operate in the Rafah area without commenting on reported advances in the city center. International unease over Israel's 3-week-old Rafah offensive has turned to outrage after an attack on Sunday set off a blaze in a tent camp in a western district of the city, killing at least 45 people. Israel said it had targeted 2 senior Hamas operatives and had not intended to cause civilian casualties.